Okay, so I've been shooting SH2 108, the Sator region, for a few years. I've been shooting that region because it's got a lot of clouds, gas clouds and dust, and it's really bright star in the center. It's just a really cool target. And I've had a hard time with two things with my focus. Number one, my back focus has been off. I had to add 100 millimeters of back focus for the Esprit, which is way too far out. So I shortened it to 66 millimeters. But then I saw some posts where it was 55 millimeters, and I was actually saying it was 55 millimeters. I thought it was 55 millimeters for forever. And it's not, it's 66 millimeters. So I went on this whole thing where I was trying to check and see if that's the right back focus. So tonight I'm shooting with the Esprit 80 ED, and I need to check the back focus. I've been shooting at 67 millimeters of back focus, which is correct by the manufacturer. The manufacturer says it's about 66 millimeters. I feel that I'm not the only one who doesn't trust everything I read in the manual. I shouldn't feel that way. In fact, I would say almost everything according to the manufacturer is correct. They've just been off about the counterweights. So you said 22 pounds of counterweights, but then the weight capacity is 44 pounds. And what I'm thinking that the manufacturer thinks is that the combined weight of the counterweight and the telescope is the weight. So whatever, like suppose an EQ6R Pro, it's 44 pounds weight capacity. They're including the counterweights. So you don't want to have more than 22 pounds on the top part. That's the only way I can think, because they're right about everything. Often I've heard people say you can only put 22 pounds on, you can only put what's the counterweight. I think they're counting the counterweights as the weight capacity. Otherwise, it's BS. There's no way that they should be wrong about that, because if they're that wrong about that, then I would be checking these things like I did. Like I checked, I read other places. It's the standard back focus for a lot of scopes is 55 millimeters, but that's awfully short, especially for the Esprit. You wouldn't be able to fit anything more than a filter drawer, and there's no OAG unless you got the thinnest OAG possible. But I even have an OAG, but I don't need it because I have the Duo. The whole reason why I got the Duo is to get rid of an OAG or a guide camera or anything. It's got the guide camera included, and it works awesome. So I'm just trying to get this rig as best I can. I believe I got the best photo I could get out of SH2 108 with the scope. I just need to get more exposure time. Now I have decreased the amount of back focus to 55 millimeters, and I'm going to shoot at that. That's the standard back focus for most refractors, but the manufacturer says it's 66 millimeters, and I think it might be 55 millimeters. So I'm going to try it out, see what the difference is, see if there's any difference at all. It's about 7:42, and I'm getting the moon. It's still light out. I'm going to get a picture of the moon really quick. I'm gonna wait for these clouds. It's just the clouds keep rolling in and rolling out. Well, I think we already solved the problem here. The problem is you can't get focus at 55 millimeters of back focus. Can't get it. There's the autofocuser right there. And when I look at how far out I'm focused, and I focus out, take a picture. Well, there's no stars. So I keep focusing out, and that's as far out as it focuses. And when I focus out that far, then I have these. If I focus in to about right there, let's see what I get. Smaller stars is what we want. Oh, okay, I'm wrong. We can polar align now. Maybe this is the perfect back focus. that might be it. We'll find out. Okay, I found out a couple things. One thing is there's no way that it's 55 millimeters. One of the reasons is just the fact that it's at the very edge of focus. So I have to almost roll out the entire focus knob in order to get focus. And when I finally do, there's like no play at all. In my last video, I said it's 55 millimeters. No, it's definitely 66. And meanwhile, the second problem was my autofocuser kept slipping. I thought maybe the autofocuser wasn't properly adjusted to the telescope, but it turns out that it was the knob. This knob right here was loose and it was catching, and I would have a hard time focusing it. So now it's smooth now. But yesterday I would focus it in, focus it out, and it would not always do this. And it was because this was loose, and the autofocuser would come loose from this too, because it would snag and then it wouldn't work. See, when I actually initially installed the autofocuser, I loosened both knobs a little bit before figuring out how to do it. And slowly over time, the other knob near the fine focus knob kind of got jammed, and you do not want to mess with the focuser on an Esprit. That focuser is good. So I was thinking it can't be this bad, and it was a simple fix, luckily. Now it's nice and smooth. But I had a hand focus to go through the test. I tested at 55 millimeters, and it is absolutely not going to work if you put your back focus on an Esprit at 55 millimeters. I did get some really nice shots of the moon. If you're having focusing issues with your telescope, SH2108 is actually a really good target to shoot because it has that really bright star in the center, Satyr, that makes it easier for you to get focus if you're trying to focus manually. So that's what I do, you know what I mean? I'll go for a target. If I'm having issues, I'll pick a target that's a little bit easier. Okay. At 66 millimeters, the scope is focused somewhere around here. Yeah. That's close enough, almost. This is a more successful looking, okay. So first thing I need to do is I need to go through and check all the images. So turn this up. We don't want that, but I have to take it. Depends on how bad it is. So let's go through them all. Start with that one. That one's better. Not so great. Better. Okay. Good. This one, no way. Delete. Maybe. Definitely good. Anything below 1,000 looks like I need to get rid of it. Get rid of that. That one's good. Get rid of. 801. Get rid of that. The way to start this off is screen them. Let's screen them all just in case. Then we go to image, we go to RGB. If I'm doing a nebula, the way I do it now is I used to use the Hubble palette, but now I try to go for a more natural look. Oops. Try to go for a more natural look, and I do hydrogen alpha as red. Actually, we'll start with the S2, and I make the S2 green, even though S2 is actually red. But I want that natural look, and I can get that pretty easy if I make one of the colors green, so I can give it that extra depth. That's why they use the Hubble palettes, to give it depth like that. That's looking pretty nice right there. And then I merge those two images. Luminance, and then I put the color over top, and then I take the star masks and I do the same thing. I start with the luminous star mask, yep, and I go with the color star mask. Now I need to screen them all. Screen the first color. There's the stars, there's the color, and then here's the luminance. And that's everything combined. Take out the stars. First thing I like to do sometimes is I just combine these. I'll combine those and then I'll just kind of see what I got. That's pretty good. So if I get real close in here, look how grainy that is. It's super grainy. I almost want to go back out. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to unmerge. Let's see which one that is. Is that the color? That is the color. Wow. Let's get rid of that. Let's see if we can get rid of it anyway. Might not be able to. Okay, so there's a lot of the green, red. Yeah, well that kind of gets rid of it. We still got a lot of green in there. Look at that. Pretty noisy. I wonder if we can get rid of that. I don't think we can get rid of that. Oh well. That's still pretty good. Alright, so it's pretty noisy. But we'll take it. I just need more time with this image, I think. Okay, so there, merge. Then let's back out. And let's saturate this. And let's try a little bit more luck with the curves. That's not bad. That noise though, that bugs me really bad. Let's see what, so it's not bad. If I only have 15 minutes or 14 minutes of S2 data, that's probably what's doing it. But let's go ahead. Now, usually what I like to do, just go ahead and merge these. Just kind of clip off the sides there. You don't really need to sharpen it if you just do this. And then you don't get that ring around the stars. So I'll just do that a little bit. And I'll back off. I might saturate them so I get the color out a little bit more. And then let's do screen. And over top. And then we can even sharpen these now. Let's see. So sharpen.